So welcome back to the channel, guys. So today I'm going to look at the causes of accidents on the road, and I do this for a number of reasons really, but in order to be safe on the roads and also to have fun with your driving, it's good to be aware of the main causes of accidents. So I'm going to go through these in details. If you like the video at the end, then please consider giving it a like, because it will get seen by more people then. And if you want to find out more about the tips that I'm giving and how to improve your safety while also having fun with your driving, then please consider subscribing to the channel, and hopefully some of these tips will help. So, what are the four main areas that lead to accidents on our roads, and what can we do about them? So the four key areas are driving errors or reaction, actions based on poor judgment, so we'll go into that in more detail, being careless or reckless when you're driving, which is never a good idea, or actually driving while you're under the influence of alcohol or either prescription or illegal drugs. So let's look at them individually. So driver error or reaction. So this is really related to the failure to look properly and understand what is happening on the road. So in my long career as an advanced driving instructor, normally when I see people for the first time, they are looking at the road, but they're not really seeing what's happening. So they might see cars up ahead, but they don't really take any notice of brake lights or positions in the road or what that car's actually doing. And failing to look properly means that you don't have the information to safely drive and have that bit of extra planning that's required when you're fully engaged with your driving. The second thing that people sort of demonstrate is a failure to judge other people's speed or their path of their vehicle. So as you get older, your ability to assess speed does diminish. We have to recognise that. So if you are an older driver, then you might think to be a bit more cautious. But it happens that cars can approach you faster than you actually anticipated. And if that is the case, you need to modify your behaviour to still keep yourself in a position of safety. So look at the speed of vehicles. Always be on the cautious side and look at the path of the vehicle. You know, where do they intend to move to? Then the third area in this sort of category is loss of control. Now, loss of control can come through a number of different factors. It can mean that you are pushing your vehicle beyond the bounds of its capability, or it could mean that you're actually driving your vehicle in conditions, or in a way in conditions that it just can't cope with. So loss of control can be through bad control of the actual vehicle, but it can also be the condition of your car as well. So loss of control can come through having tyres that are not having sufficient tread depth to cope with the conditions that you're finding. But that whole thing around a loss of control of the vehicle is quite complex. So be aware of that and drive within your capabilities and drive within the conditions on the road that you're actually finding at the time. And that sort of goes into the second category really, which is actions based on poor judgment. So poor judgment can cover a whole multitude of things. Like we said, bad assessment of speed, bad assessment of path, But it can also be travelling too fast for the conditions that you're driving in. Like I said before, you know, if you're driving too fast in fog or rain or icy, if you're a new driver and you're not familiar with driving in those circumstances, then you may need to modify your behaviour to actually cater for that. The other thing, of course, is exceeding speed limits. But it's exceeding speed limits, but it's also exceeding or driving at speeds that are not suitable for the road conditions, like I said previously. So keep to the speed limit. They are there for a reason, and the big thing to remember is that a speed limit is a limit and not a target. You don't have to get to that speed. Now, quite recently I made a video about tailgating, and again, this is one of the contributing factors to accidents. Driving too close to the car in front. You've got absolute control over how far you are from the vehicle in front of you, and you need to maintain that defensive gap. Now, other videos that I've done talk about the 2-second rule in dry road conditions, 4-second rule in wet conditions, and maybe even a 10-second rule in wet or icy conditions or foggy conditions. So you need to maintain that safe gap in front of you. You also need to manage the vehicles behind you, and I've done another video about tailgating. So remember, the stopping distance is not only the physical stopping distance from your brakes, but also your ability to react to the conditions. Now, the third point is just people that are careless or reckless driving. If anyone's been driving for a period of time, they will have seen people that have driven recklessly or carelessly, and we see lots of videos posted on YouTube from dash cams where people have just been completely reckless, completely careless, and it's resulted in an accident. There are lots and lots of reasons why people might be reckless or careless, too many to go through, but you know, if you take conscious decisions not to do that, not being reckless or careless will be a significant contributing factor to you being safe on the roads. The last one I want to talk about, and you know, we've had drink driving campaigns for as long as I can remember, but now talking to the people that I talk to in the advanced driving world, the driving under the influence of either prescription drugs or illegal drugs is almost as at the same level as drink driving, because people now are familiar with the effects of drink driving through the campaigns, and also are aware that, you know, the day after a heavy night before, you can still be over the legal limit, so be very careful of that. But with prescription drugs, you need to read the leaflets that come with all drugs that talk about the effect of those drugs. But of course, we all also know that there are a number of people out there on the roads who are driving under the influence of illegal drugs. We need to be aware that there are those sorts of people around. So that is the sort of fourth and final factor, really. If you got this far in the video, well, thanks very much for keeping with me. I hope it's been useful. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye.